I'm going to tell you something most people won't say out loud. The moment you finally get what you want, some part of you starts missing the wanting itself. That's not pessimism. It's wiring. And wiring doesn't apologize. In the late 1970s, researchers tracked two very different groups. One group had just won the lottery. The other had survived accidents that left them paralyzed. A year later, something happened that nobody on the research team expected. We'll get to exactly what and exactly why before this is over. But first, you need to understand the trap you're already standing in. Your brain has a happiness set point. Think of it like a thermostat. Win an award, fall in love, buy the house, your mood spikes. Then weeks later, it drifts back down. Not because the joy wasn't real, because your brain treats joy like a temporary reading, not a new normal. This is called hedonic adaptation. Cold name, brutal effect. There's a real number attached to it. Researchers who study income and happiness found that a raise boosts mood for about 4 weeks. Not 4 months, 4 weeks. After that, your spending habits quietly adjust to match the new number, and the feeling of more evaporates back into normal. The raise didn't fail you. It just expired on schedule, like everything else in the system. A founder once sold his company for enough money to never work again. 2 weeks later, he described the feeling in one sentence. I executed the biggest win of my life and I felt nothing. Not sad, just nothing. The number hit his account and his thermostat reset by Tuesday. Here's where it gets stranger. Happiness isn't measured on an absolute scale. It's measured against the person next to you. A man gets a 10% raise. He's thrilled for about 3 weeks. Then he finds out his co-worker got 12%. Suddenly the raise feels like an insult. Nothing about his life changed. Only the comparison did. That's not an isolated glitch. It's the operating system. Your brain doesn't ask, is this good? It asks, is this better than them? Scroll your phone for 10 minutes and you've just run that comparison 50 times against 50 curated lives all at once. No wonder the feed leaves you flatter than before you opened it. Stack the comparison engine on top of the thermostat and you get the real cycle. You chase a goal, you hit it, the thermostat resets, and a comparison whispers it wasn't enough anyway. Most people spend a lifetime inside that loop and call it ambition. Promotions, followers, square footage. The chase rebrands itself every decade. The treadmill never changes speed. And you already feel it, don't you? That low hum of not quite there, even on your best day. But here's where everything you just heard gets turned upside down. Evolution never built your brain to make you happy. It built your brain to keep you alive. Those are not the same job. Contentment to a brain built for scarcity looks like danger. A satisfied animal stops checking the tree line. A satisfied animal gets eaten. Your mind won't let satisfaction sit still. It drags you back toward want, back toward scanning, back toward dissatisfaction. Because dissatisfaction kept your ancestors moving, hunting, watching, surviving. You were never broken for feeling like something's missing. The missing feeling is the design spec. Remember those lottery winners and the accident survivors? A year out, the winners weren't dramatically happier than before they won. The people who'd lost the use of their legs weren't as devastated as anyone predicted. Both groups drifted back toward the same baseline they started with. Up or down, the machinery pulled them home. That's not a sad story. It's proof the system is symmetrical. The same mechanism that erases your joy also rebuilds you after disaster. It isn't cruel, it's regulation. Now, here's the part nobody wants to hear about dopamine. Most people think it's the pleasure chemical. It isn't. It's the wanting chemical. It spikes right before the reward, not during it. The anticipation is the peak. The having is the come down. Worse, it only fires when something beats your expectation. Get exactly what you predicted and your brain barely registers it. Every time you succeed, your baseline expectation creeps up to match. There's a name for what happens next in relationships specifically. Researchers who study early romance call it the limerence window. That intense, can't think of anything else phase. It runs on average 12 to 18 months. Then the chemistry that made it feel urgent quietly steps down, whether the relationship is good or bad. People mistake that chemical decline for falling out of love. Usually it's just the dopamine clock running out, exactly on schedule. Couples who don't know this often panic and leave right when the relationship was finally about to become something steadier than a chemical high. And here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. None of this is a flaw evolution forgot to patch. It's load-bearing. A species that got comfortable and stayed comfortable doesn't keep building, migrating, reproducing under pressure. The dissatisfaction is the engine. You are biologically supposed to feel like something is missing, so you keep moving towards the next thing. Happiness was never the finish line your brain was running toward. It was the fuel it burned along the way. Think about that founder again. He didn't fail. He hit the actual ceiling of what money can chemically deliver. That ceiling was lower than everyone had told him his whole life. He kept working anyway, not because he needed the money, because the chase was the only part of the system that had ever reliably felt like something. Maybe the wanting was never the obstacle to happiness. Maybe it was the whole point. The empty feeling after every win was never a malfunction. It was your oldest ancestor, still awake somewhere in the back of your skull, refusing to let you sit still long enough to get caught. If this rewired how you see your own dissatisfaction, follow for more of what's actually running underneath human behavior.